Hola! Buenos tardes. Welcome to Punchlines. Me llamo Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan, taker of 2 years of Spanish in high school, where I did así. Live comments on fire. Yeah, I don't type perfectly. I'm typing fast, trying to answer some questions. No, Jerry, I am not having a stroke. There are some typos. Anyway, we appreciate all you guys, all our regulars in there in the live comments. I mean, the chat room was going crazy before the show. It was good. It's a good sign.
Yeah. Always good to have the comments.
People are having fun. We enjoy you guys watching the show. We've crossed 1,000 subscribers, and our numbers are going up. So we appreciate you guys, the regulars watching the show. Share it on your social media. We love subscribers. We love views. We have a great show for you today. Today should be really, really fun via the video in just a few minutes. We're going to bring them in sooner than later, I think, because we want to play a game with them from the Rampart Casino. Our man, Duane Colucci.
Colucci.
I feel like we half-assed that one. I feel like
it was only half the crew doing it.
Coming up in a few minutes, Duane Colucci.
Colucci.
That was the same. You guys didn't get any better. That was.
Yeah,
anyway.
I put effort into it.
You did, Ryan. You put effort into it. And Ryan, what are you wearing today, by the way? You're wearing a Golden Knights jersey.
Yeah, it's their alternate from last year. The lettering has
That's
some
sharp.
Like glow in the dark seams in it.
It glows in the dark?
Yeah.
And can we turn all the lights out and see his shirt glow? Maybe at the end of the show. Maybe we'll end with that. I'd kind of like to see it.
I don't know if we can get it dark enough for it to work. You also have to charge it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, just sit underneath the light for the last 5 minutes of the show. Just take a flashlight and hammer yourself.
Yeah.
Colucci will be here to talk pucks and pigskins. It's a big week. I mean, this is it, man. NFL season, playoff season is about to start. And tomorrow we're going to have the parlay cards here at the South Point.
Yes.
Chris Andrews does a great job putting these together. And this is where, what is it? You bet $5? Can win a ton of money.
Yeah.
25 grand.
Yeah. Not that jackpot one, but
Not the jackpot one, but still a parlay card.
Yeah. Ties win, that kind of stuff.
We'll have the physical card in my hand. You know what I have in my hand right now, though? Right here. This sheet, we've been talking about this off air for about 20 minutes. This is the 2024 NFL Championship exact outcome. This is, it's like an exact. It's like betting horses, but with the remaining 14 teams that are in the playoff field.
Yep.
And this kind of betting is done in different countries all over the world. And who created this, Ryan?
Humbly speaking, but our director over here at South Point.
Our own sports director, Chris Andrews. He kind of came up with this exact betting. Chris is at home, probably watching the show right now. And this is awesome. You guys got to get one of these sheets. You got to come down to the South Point. The most common, 6-1. Ravens defeat the 49ers. That's a 6-1 bet. So you could put $2 on that. You win $12. But let's look at some of the long shots. Eagles defeat Steelers in the battle of the Keystone State teams. That's 1,500 to 1. $2 bet gets you $3,000. And just for fun, I looked at the biggest numbers. Green Bay Packers
suck.
You do not miss. You do not miss when I say Green Bay Packers
suck.
There you go. If they would defeat the Steelers, those are two long shots. 6,000 to 1. Sean, we put $2 on that bet. $12,000. We go to the bar. I'm telling you right now. Let's do that. There's a lot of good ones here. Dolphins defeat Lions 130 to 1, which I have a future on both those teams. Lions defeat Dolphins 275 to 1. So that's a lot of fun. You want to have fun? Come down to the South Point. Bet this exact on the NFL champ. I can say Super Bowl.
You just did.
I just did. Oh God, the show's being shut down. Anyway, come down and place a $2 bet. Place $5 bet. Place them all. What if you put how many bets are there? If you put $2 on every one of them,
well,
that's kind of like wheeling a horse, if I'm not mistaken.
7
right?
for all 14.
You're just hoping a long shot comes in. Yeah.
Quick math. Yeah.
So there's you'd lose money, but it would be fun. You could say, hey, I had the winner.
Yeah, especially
if
it's
Ravens defeat Niners, you lost a lot of money. You lost a couple $100.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be great. And we're going to talk to Duane Colucci about some of these over at Rampart. They got the same numbers. So when we bring Duane on, we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. And I'm sure Duane's going to have a hot pick for everybody. Duane gave a winner out on this show last week.
Yes, he did.
New Jersey Devils, -180. He even said take the puck line, right?
Yep.
And they won like 4-1, 4-2?
I think 6-3.
6-3. Either way, they won. He gave you a winner, baby.
Like
And he's going to do it again today. Today is January 10th, 2024. It is National Oysters Rockefeller Day. The odds of this happening today, kind of crazy because I guess we can give it away. We're going to give I'm going to be going over to the Oyster Bar, which we have located right here at the South Point. We're going to shoot a little bit, and we're going to air it tomorrow on Sports by the Book. I do a weekly appearance on Sports by the Book at 3:40 Pacific every Thursday. And we're kind of showing off all the great amenities we have here at the South Point. And I'm gonna shuck some oysters. Maybe we'll figure out a way to make it about gambling. But
you did just give away where the Frank is Nicotero.
Right, but are the people watching this watching that? Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you should. They should.
Okay, they should
Yes.
be. Well, yeah, I did, but
Oh well.
our people are in the know. So anyway, yeah, it'll be fun. So you can watch the result of that video we'll shoot later today after this show for tomorrow. Oysters Rockefeller, if you're not sure what they are, there's a little on the oyster. There's a little sauce and breadcrumbs. That name's Oysters Rockefeller, named after the rich Rockefellers. Their chef came up with that. This one guy alone has served over 3.5 million orders of Oysters Rockefeller. What do his hands look like? Because to shuck those things, it's not easy. So,
And how many come in an order? How many oysters is that?
usually you get like
10 million?
Yeah, you get like 6 maybe, half dozen, 10.
Yeah, that's clearing 10 million.
Yeah, it's 3-5. Right, it's 20 million.
Yeah.
All right. Today is episode 64. Now, yesterday was episode 63, and you alerted to me at the top of the show. We had kind of said we were going to bypass the 60s as far as showing jerseys because it's a lot of linemen.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to have to do something special on episode 66, though, for Super Mario. Super Mario, we'll speak about him in a second. But it's episode 63 yesterday, and you did do a collage, and we forgot to get to it, so let's just see it quickly. Jeff Saturday on there. That's the only one I could think of, the Colts center, who's a broadcaster now. Oh, Mike Munchak. Great. He's a Hall of Famer. He was with the Houston Oilers. Dermani Dawson, all-time Steeler great center.
Another Hall
and
of
then who are these hockey players?
Well, so Gene Upshaw, and then Doug Wilkerson, and then Brad Marchand, who was a Cup champion with the Bruins. He's their captain now. He's 14 games away from 1,000 games played. And then Evgeny Dadonov was with the Knights in 2022. He was with the Panthers for like a decade, and now he's become kind of a journeyman.
And Gene Upshaw had a brilliant career, and then he went on to work in the NFL front offices, and I mean, head coach, he's everything. Was that him on the Chargers as well?
No, that was Doug Wilkerson.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I was like, wait, did Upshaw play there too? All right. So anyway, good for 63, but today's 64.
That it is.
And we don't have any 64s. You know what we do have? We think 64. This is what you think of right here, baby. Nintendo 64.
Yep.
Now, was this the console of your youth?
No. Mine, my first console was the
Wii?
Original Xbox, and then a PlayStation 2.
The PS2. That was a good one.
Yeah.
PS2 was good. But the N64, I have Mario Kart ready, loaded to go.
Nice.
There you go. So
I'll absolutely dust you in that.
What's that?
I said I'll absolutely dust you in that.
I'm terrible. No, you can play. I have someone that can play with.
I'll beat Courtney then.
I don't know. All right. If she's watching, she'll throw down a challenge. Jerry, you're a big Nintendo N64 guy because we know you're a Sonic fan. And Jerry compiled a list of his top 5 Nintendo 64 games, and you even used the font.
Yep.
That is brilliant. All right, let's see the list.
Tried to get it. So
Jerry's
top games.
Jerry, what's number 1? Is Super Mario 64 number 1?
Yes.
Number 2, you got a Zelda in there. Oh, a couple Zeldas.
2 Zeldas, yep.
I don't know what Bomberman Hero is.
He's shocked.
Seriously, you're shocked about that?
I'm not going to lie.
Ryan, who's Jimmy Page?
I don't.
You're shocked about, I don't know that. You didn't know who Jimmy Page was.
Well, yes. Okay.
And then Donkey Kong 64. I've heard of that. I know who Zelda is. And Super Mario, I'm Italian. Vinny! Super Mario Brothers, that's the number 1 game. And Mario Kart. Mario Party, I actually prefer over the Mario Kart on N64. That's a fun game.
Yeah, Mario Party is fun. Tiff and I have been playing the newest one.
Oh, there's a newer one.
Yeah.
It's always really good when you're drinking.
On the Switch.
You have a few drinks. Oh, see, the Switch is what you kids have. That's the thing there.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a PSP kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, but it's...
Back in our
Nintendo
day, and we
versions.
called those Game Boys.
I had a Game Boy.
You had a Game Boy?
Yeah.
I was moving, and I found a color one, a full color one with Tiger Woods Golf that I played all the time. Looked it up online. It's worth a couple $100.
Yeah, if it still works, yes. They are worth
works.
a good amount of money, yeah.
The batteries didn't leak. There were batteries in it. And usually after a toy's been left with batteries that long, you think maybe they leaked and there's acid everywhere. No, it's still good.
All right.
Nintendo builds a good product. So there you go. There's 64. Tomorrow, episode 65. I don't know what we'll do for that. Who knows?
Just have to stick around.
You got to tune in, find out where the Frank Nicotero is. Okay, we're going to bring in our guest. Oh, let me put my headphones on. Look at this. No fumbling, no nagging. Look at that. 2024, and I don't fumble. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Duane Colucci from the Rampart Casino, sports director over there. Now, wait a second. Did you and Ryan send memos and coordinate this Vegas stuff?
Yeah, I should have worn the gold one.
No, he's got the one you're wearing.
That's the best. That's the glow in the dark. Yeah, that's the Stardust. Last year that was the alternate jersey, and now this year they have the one that's it's kind of like a white with the big V in the middle, and it's cool too. I like that. I'm gonna probably pick one of those up. Definitely representing the Golden Knights here in Las Vegas is the best thing. That's the Vegas-born team, Frank. This is what I try to explain. People are like, oh well, Las Vegas Aces, Oakland Raiders, Oakland A's. Yeah, they came from different areas. Yeah. Oakland, Los Angeles with the Raiders, and even the WNBA team, the Aces, is a transplant. So the only Vegas-born team is the Vegas Golden Knights. So definitely have a sentimental place for them in my heart.
Now you're telling me you and Ryan didn't coordinate outfits, but you're coordinating the exact same opinion. This is what Ryan's been saying. I feel like you guys were texting last night. He says the same thing all the time.
We don't even need to coordinate. It's just Vegas locals know that we don't need to move teams here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I was reading an article today about Comiskey Park. There's a documentary about it. And they're talking about how the stadium they're going to build here and that it's going to be a really cool – it's only going to hold like 30,000, 35,000, make it a hot ticket. I mean, you have to be excited to see Major League Baseball. You can go, well, who's your baseball team? Are you a Mets guy or a Yankees guy?
Dodger guy. My whole family was from Brooklyn.
Oh,
yeah, my whole family was
that's
from
where
Brooklyn.
You and Ryan
my dad. Yeah, my dad went to Ebbets Field, and wow. He grew up a Dodgers fan, so it was just like instilled in me. I mean, I love the Mets. Don't get me wrong. I lived in Queens my whole life. I've gone to Shea Stadium more than any baseball stadium. Right. No ill regard for the Yankees as well. I've come to even embrace them because they are definitely the top, MLB team in New York. But I was always a Dodger fan and still am. Spending so much money now, and we better bring home a title. I hate when my team spend so much money and you can't win. I mean, it seems like you get to the playoffs and you turn into a pumpkin every year. But this year with Ohtani, we have to still solidify the pitching staff. But that lineup is incredible, Frank. Ryan,
it's not even spending the money this year.
First of all, it's not fair, and the money's not even being spent. It's like they're putting a championship on layaway.
Yeah,
Bobby Bonilla-esque
for the entire roster.
Deferred payments. Deferred.
Do you know what layaway is, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. Is that still a thing? And I don't know. Remember, as a kid, layaway was like
Target maybe with Christmas presents, but I know what you're talking about, Frank. The girls used to those little fashion shops that were on Grand Avenue in Maspeth, Queens. My mom would always have a bunch of stuff that she put on layaway.
You could put things on layaway, and you'd go and you'd make like a payment, like $5 or $10 a week, and then you'd get maybe an Atari 2600 for Christmas. Layaway. I don't know if they. There you go. Right, Jerry's with me.
That's what I grew up on. 2600 and in television.
Yes, in television. Yes. Oh, the little pad on that. That was my buddy. There was always one family or friend that you had that had the entire. Most people had Atari, and then one guy would have in television. So you'd go over to play video games, and you're like, "What is this crap? We don't want to." And it was like a different paddle, and it had like it was just weird, but that
disc in the middle, and it had a keypad. Yes, the buttons on the side, and it was an awkward controller, but the games were so much. The graphics were what was better than the 2600.
The football. If Mike O'Day is watching, I don't know. My buddy Mike, he was the family. They were the ones that had that one, and in television, we'd play that football game, and they didn't have real player names. They didn't have a deal with the NFL, so they had these fictional names. Like it was like Jeff or Jiffy Jeff, and they would turn to the camera. Hi, Mom. You guys today would laugh at it. There's 8-bit. I think it's called 8-bit graphics, right? But it was fun. That's all we had. Then we had to walk to school upstairs, both up the hill in the snow. So Colucci, we want to play a game. We kind of created a game last week, I think, for you, or a couple weeks ago, called Frank or Fiction. Do we have a graphic and music? Not yet. But anyway, it's called Frank or Fiction. And Colucci, I don't want to do this to you, but I have to start with it. On this day in history in 1981. It's simply known as the catch.
Here we go.
Yep.
Yes, I bet on the 49ers, and I was very young at that point, Frank. I was just about 10 years old, and I was still a Cowboy guy, but I remember everybody leaping up, and we had those metal folding chairs because we had everybody watching the game, and it was a big party, and everybody jumped up. The metal folding chairs hit the floor, and my grandmother lived downstairs, and she came up. She thought somebody had died up there. I mean, everybody was so animated, and I was just sitting there hanging my head. But, the 49ers was solid and started their dynasty basically off of that. Joe Montana, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. He was so intelligent, like you said, just to get too tall off his feet there. Yeah. And, the 49ers just played fabulous. And, it wasn't that Dallas was a huge favorite at all in that game, if I remember correctly.
I was wrong. Actually, the Niners
the 49ers were the favorite in that game.
I found online, it said the Niners were +3, so they were home underdogs.
Well,
so I don't know.
I know that. Yeah, it was a very close line. Yeah. I remember that. That was just a wee bit before my gambling days. Like I said, I was only 10, but it was just an amazing game, and what a performance, and what a catch.
And you tell your grandmother thought somebody died, you could say, yes, the Cowboys dynasty passed away that day. That's what happened. And ushered in the Niners and Bill Walsh era. And by the way, Jerry, Joe Montana from Southwest Pennsylvania. Not Pittsburgh, but outside of it. Close enough.
He did say Pittsburgh, though.
I did say it.
Dollar for the jar.
Dollar for the jar, baby. All right, so here's question number 1 for you today. Now, is this a Frank fact or is this fiction? And we have a graphic for the question?
Not
this one. Okay. So during their epic run in the 80s, the 49ers were so big that they actually sang background vocals on the Huey Lewis hit song, Hip to Be Square. Is that fact or fiction?
Oh, God. I like that song, too. I know that song.
Hip to be square. So were the Niners singing background?
I don't know I don't remember seeing them in the background. Maybe, if there were a few players part of that, but it wasn't like the Bears in '85. I remember that music video very vividly. I remember that music video. So I would have to say fiction here.
You're saying fiction. Ryan, roll the clip. All right. There are the San Francisco 49ers. They did sing background on the song. And this is them joining them on stage live. And that is Dwight. And there's Dwight Clark singing a little solo towards the end.
But were they on the album?
They are on the album. I don't know
if they were on the album.
They are on the album. They're on the album.
Wow.
They're on the album. And
That's
this was the one time they got them all together. Joe Montana is actually on stage with them, too. You can see that. If you want to look on YouTube, Hip to Be Square Live with the 49ers. Joe Montana was there. Ricky Ellison, who I'm not familiar with. Ronnie Lott. And then you watch the clip, which we don't want to show too much of, but Dwight Clark actually sings the ending. He's like, hip to be square. And he actually sounds pretty good. Dwight Clark, who we lost too soon, rest in peace, number 87. But great player. But yeah, they sang backup on a Huey Lewis song. That's how big they were. So there you go. That was question number 1. So now on that same day in 1981, Colucci, you might also remember this. I don't remember what game aired first. Probably this game, I guess, time zone-wise. It was also in 1981 on this day in history, the Freezer Bowl, which was the AFC championship between the San Diego Chargers and the Bengals. Do you remember watching this game with the breath coming out? The temperature was so low, it was...
What was it, 27-7 or something? Bengals,
yeah, it was 27-7. Yeah, Colucci.
They played watching that as well in my living room.
Look at the temps.
Just a freezing. Wow, I didn't know it was that cold, but I remember...
With a wind chill of negative... But yeah, just a brutal game. And I remember watching that game, and I was rooting for the Chargers because I hated the Bengals. But I also liked. Look, when you watch the Chargers, because their games were so exciting every week, man. They put up 30, 40 points. J.J. Jefferson and Joyner and Winslow. And negative 59 wind chill. Now, a week earlier, the Bengals had won their first ever playoff game by defeating the Bills 28-21. And if you remember, this is the week before is when the Chargers defeated Miami in that thrilling overtime game, 41-38, down in Miami, where Kellen Winslow had to be carried off the field. He was so tired.
Carried off.
Yeah, remember the Chargers were up like 20-0, 21-0, 28-0, and right before the half, Don struck and the Dolphins threw that the hook and ladder, and Miami needed a game. It was such an exciting game, but I think that also hurt San Diego as they were just beat up from that game.
Yeah, and going into that freezing cold, think about that, Frank. Yeah. Forget about it. Winslow. I'd love to see his stat line for that game.
Kellen Winslow in that game, in the game against the Dolphins?
No, the Cincy game.
Oh, the Cincy game. Yeah,
find out what. Yeah, I would love to see that.
In the Miami game, I think he had 12 catches because I remember seeing the graphic.
Yeah, he was
10
ridiculous.
or 12 catches. Yeah. He blocked an extra point or a field goal that kept them from losing the game and until overtime. He was a beast in that game. And yeah, so what, Brian? Yeah, do you see what Kellen Winslow did in the AFC Championship in '81?
Called the Epic in Miami.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
I'm going to say 10 or 12 catches.
A then NFL record, 13 catches for 166 yards and a touchdown.
Ridiculous. But then what did he have the next week? In the 1981 AFC Championship. Yeah.
Let me find it.
Obviously, I mean, I can't imagine trying to catch a football when it's negative 59 wind chill.
I think looked like Anderson threw a dart there, though, on that first clip we had. That had to feel like a rock. I mean, a piece of ice, basically.
And the one thing about Ken Anderson was he was Mr. Accurate, right? His completion percentage was always like 60%, which back then was ungodly, but he was pinpoint accurate, man. Did you find anything on that?
Definitely.
We'll get to it
Still
eventually.
Looking.
Yeah, we'll get to it eventually. But you talk about the weather. We're talking about how warm it was in Miami and how cold it was. So that is your second question. Do you have a graphic for this one, Ryan? No. Okay. The Dolphins played a game in Miami the week before, and the difference in temperature between that game and the Freezer Bowl was nearly 100 degrees. Fact or fiction? Do you think it might have been higher or lower, or do you think it was right around 100? The difference between -9.
It had to be close to at least 80, 90 degrees, just because of the fact that you're looking at -9. So it felt like -59. So with the wind chill,
so going with the -59.
Yeah, that's a huge day. Yeah, definitely.
It was much higher. It was 147 degree difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you equate to 59, right? Yeah. Then it's 100, right?
140.
But like I said, 80 or 90 from the -9.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Can you imagine that? The difference, 147 degrees. Did you find something there, Ryan?
So that in that Cincinnati game, he only had 3 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That is definitely a major factor. But those are the trials and tribulations of the NFL, and that's why it's so important that Dallas has the home field now in the playoffs these upcoming weeks, because they're not going to play good on the road. You know that.
Well, they haven't lost all year at home, right? I mean, that's what you got to feel good about that.
That's it.
And that line, now we can jump ahead to that. While we're talking about Dallas, we might as well. That's your team, the Cowboys. They opened at around 8, I believe, and is it at 7.5 currently?
7.5, yeah.
7.5.
Yeah, 7.
So what do you feel on that game? And now, as a sportsbook director, how do you feel? And how do you feel as a Cowboys fan? What are you looking at in that?
Well, definitely a tough game, Frank. Green Bay always plays us very tight, and it's a difficult scenario. Dallas, from the regular season going to the playoffs, is always night and day. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We're going to see if we can perform at a high level. I mean, this game is very winnable. Green Bay had to do everything to get into the playoffs. Very tough, difficult game against the Bears, and they had Lambeau Field working for them. Now you don't have Lambeau Field. Totally different atmosphere. I know Dallas is calling for a whiteout, so they're going to make it as tough as possible on Love. But this kid really turned the corner this year, and definitely he knows how to run that offense. Yeah. I think, though, in the coaching matchup, McCarthy might have a slight edge. You saw LaFleur again mess up the clock over the weekend in a huge matchup. So definitely I think Dallas also is more talented on the offensive side of the ball. Aaron Jones has been fabulous 5 of the last 5 weeks, 5 out of 5 big performances, and that's Dallas's weakness, is that you can run the ball against the Dallas Cowboys. So I definitely think Dallas is going to have to be strong on the defensive end. We know how CD is going to be unstoppable. Yeah. Brandon Cooks is the ultimate complementary receiver, and Dallas's offense really looks good right now.
Yeah. Now, say they lose this game, and I'm rooting for you because, Ryan, who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for Dallas or Green Bay?
Sucks. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Colucci, if you want,
everybody hates Dallas.
If you want, at any point, if you say the word Green Bay,
sucks.
Yeah, Ryan will say sucks after. It's just like a reflex.
Not gonna lie, at this point, I wouldn't be upset if that team won because it would just worsen their draft pick. So,
wow, that's interesting. Right. Interesting way to look at it, but very Pavlovian. If you say those words, he will say sucks. So if Dallas loses this game, is Mike McCarthy, is he gone? Or, I mean, because they love him there in Dallas, but I mean, geez, he's got to win a couple.
You know how Jones is. Yeah, I mean, Jones has gotten complacent with head coaches, but I mean, the time to win is now. I mean, I would expect us at least to go. A successful season is playing San Francisco in the NFC Championship. Yes. Naturally, you don't want to say that it's not winning a Super Bowl is successful, but I would love to see them play in the Super Bowl. It's just making it to San Francisco is the ultimate goal, and then making the adjustments to win on the road. road. That is what is needed. They definitely have to win on the road during these playoffs. And then you could, sky's the limit without a doubt once you get to the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas. So I think Dallas is going to bring their A game. I think they're going to be very tough to stop this weekend. We'll see who the matchup is the following week, and we go from there.
All right. And the total's 50 in the hook there. So what do you see a lot of scoring in that game? Now, Ryan brought up something interesting to me about the all the overs in the play, or someone on the live chat room, I think, said all the games in the wild card weekend went over last year.
5 of 6.
Except for the Monday night game, which I would probably agree with this one too. So I don't know. Do you like 50?
Right. Well, I think Dallas could definitely put up points, and if you like Dallas, yes. And then Jordan Love playing catch-up, he could also move the ball against the Dallas prevent. So, yeah, this is one of the games that I would definitely focus on and over wager if you're looking to bet, for a high-scoring affair, because you look at the Pittsburgh game, that's going to be a little difficult with the weather. You know how that is, adverse conditions. Detroit's indoors, so that definitely also could be a game where it's a shootout, unless the Rams bring that A defense and that pass rush, which they're going to try to bring. But looking at all these games and the landscape without a game in Miami as well, definitely I would say that the Dallas game would have the most points at a combined score this weekend.
Yeah, I seem to agree. It's that Buffalo-Pittsburgh game, I don't know, man. I'm a little nervous. It's going to be fun. We backed into the playoffs, but we're in the playoffs. We got a shot. We got a hot quarterback. Without TJ Watt.
And you still got Josh. Let me tell you something. Josh Allen, I'm still not sold. I don't care how great they're playing down the stretch, and always that team. Oh, that's the team you don't want to face, and that's the team that the public will load up on. And, naturally, we'll see how this plays out. Watt is a big subtraction, don't get me wrong, but I still think, like you said, Mason Rudolph carrying the hot hand. Najee Harris looked unstoppable, against Baltimore. Yeah. He was running, right down there.
He's running angry finally.
Yeah, and, Baltimore did sit a lot of players, but Rudolph has played well. We're going to see a cold weather Josh Allen against a cold weather Mason Rudolph. So it's going to be a good matchup. I could see it definitely falling within the 10-point spread. I think the Bills will probably win the game, unfortunately, Frank, but we'll see how it plays out. Anything is possible. This is the NFL playoffs.
The last 2 seasons, the Bills are 0-9 against the spread when they're 9-point plus favorites, but they've won 7 of those 9. Outright.
But they haven't covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
The Steelers without TJ Watt, 1-10. Yep. Steelers record without TJ Watt, 1-10.
4-5-1 against the spread too.
Yeah. Very good. Nice job. That was a tag team there. Nice job, Ryan. I don't know if you saw the picture, but JJ Watt released a picture of him in the number 90 Steeler uniform saying, "Oh, could this happen?" I mean, obviously it can't, but it's
notice?
Steeler fans. I did not notice yesterday. You put it up for me, Ryan, but it's far away. These eyes are not what they used to be. They're still gorgeous. They're still, the blue's probably popping, right? I mean,
the blue and the green?
The blue and the green. Well, I'm doing blue and green. If I wear green, they pop green. If I wear blue, they pop blue. It's a gift God gave me. He didn't give me a lot of other gifts. He just gave me gorgeous eyes.
Color intuition.
Right. All right. Continuing on with today's date, January 10th, I believe, 2024. Happy birthday, 75 years old, to Big George Foreman. Are you a boxing fan? Who are some of your favorite boxers?
Yeah, definitely. I love boxing. Yeah. I mean, I grew up. Yeah. Boxing was so great back then, especially when you were able to see guys like Foreman, Ali, Frazier, just that Shavers, Quarry, unbelievable competition level. Those guys were all tough. And now the heavyweight division is a debacle.
It's a joke.
So, yeah, Big George, I remember this knockout boxing that you're showing, that little short right hand against Michael Mora. Just stopped him in his tracks and put him on his back. I remember that fight vividly. Yeah. I was living out here then, and I actually couldn't believe that Big George was able to do that, because he wasn't as dominant as he was earlier on in his career.
He was 45 years old. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. But, to knock out younger Michael Moore, yeah, definitely. I remember that vividly. I remember, George's career. I think he fought Morrison on the comeback.
Yeah,
he fought almost everybody.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable, and people, I'm not even sure if the millennials will know the George Foreman grill nowadays. He was then synonymous with selling a barbecue grill. So, definitely Big George. Love all the, Duran, Hearns, Hagler. I remember I have so many stories. And, I remember when Vinny Maiulo, he let my dad in to see we were staying when Hearns and Hagler had that fabulous fight at Caesar's Palace. Yep. And my dad and my grandfather, definitely betting big on the horses back then in the sports. So they were able to let him watch one of the workouts. I believe it was Marvin Hagler. And I remember my dad coming out of that workout and just saying, to me, I was that young. He goes, Duane, look, he's going to destroy this guy. I'm telling you, he just looks so hungry and like a machine. And, that was the greatest couple of rounds that you ever seen in my life. For a live action fight. And my dad was right. He hit the nail on the head. And thanks to Vinny. Vinny's the best, Paisan. Even in the family, the legend. And, he turned us on to that and we got some money out of it.
Well, I'm telling you, I think we're roughly in the same neighborhood of age. But when I grew up too, you mentioned all the same boxers I remember. I was, of course, the short cocky. I like Sugar Ray Leonard. I like Leonard because he was flashy.
Unbelievable.
And my buddy Mike was a Hagler guy. So when they fought, like they were on HBO, right? We'd gather around, we'd watch that fight. And to this day, he is still bitter about Sugar Ray beating Hagler because he didn't knock him down. You got to knock the champ down, right? If you want the crown, you got to knock him out.
Yeah, well, Frank,
but I think Sugar Ray won.
I was at that fight, closed circuit. We actually had on Queens Boulevard. Yeah, my dad took me to see the fight because that's how you had to see it in New York. And I will say this, I was a tremendous Sugar Ray fan as well. And I know the bookmakers were desperate. They needed Hagler in that fight. I knew and grew up around that atmosphere. So I will say this, that Hagler did not throw punches in that fight. So, Sugar Ray won the fight. If you look at it, Hagler would just, do this and rub his nose a little and throw a few punches until the last round. I mean, then he started to, push him around, and you could see what was capable. But where was it the first, 10, 12 rounds? Yep. Definitely Sugar Ray won that fight.
Right, a big George Foreman, happy 75th. He did knock Michael Moore out when he was 45 years old. I think Moore was 26, so he was 19. It was 19-year difference. Michael Moore, I believe, is from outside of Pittsburgh, but anyway, it's from Menneson, PA. He's got the mantra. He is. That's not why I showed the. It's just the way it happens, Jerry. He knocked out this guy on this day. I'm not.
It's all about Pitt.
I'm not searching for Pittsburgh stuff. It just happens.
Just say his name.
There's a lot of talent out of there. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Montana, Moore. George Foreman.
Permanente brothers.
7 Permanente brothers. It's not me. It's just the world, Jerry. All right. It's the Nintendo 64 world of Pittsburgh. It's all just bits coming together. Foreman, Big George Foreman, who won the heavyweight title twice and an Olympic gold medal, for goodness sake. And we saw him knock out Michael Moore there. And that fight was November 5th in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Vinny, by the way, you want to sit down and talk to Vinny and hear about he'll tell you about Hagler Hearns. He was there for Fan Man when Fan Man came in. Vinny's got great boxing stories. But Foreman, he broke 3 records with that win. At 45, the oldest fighter ever to win a world championship, 20 years after losing his title for the first time. And he broke the record for the longest interval between first and second world championships, which I can't really see being broken unless Mike Tyson would want to come back.
Right.
Because remember Tyson a year ago? He was working out and he was supposed to going to fight somebody. Who was he going to fight?
He fought Roy Jones. He fought Roy Jones in an exhibition.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that now everybody wants to fight Mike. Right. Because there's such a, even you could hear talks about Pacquiao and Mayweather and McGregor and Mayweather, just because people are looking for big fights. There's no big name out there anymore. The heavyweight division is just a debacle. Frank Nicotero beat the champion, and he got robbed in that last fight, and he never even really boxed. So, I don't know what to make of the heavyweight division. You do have some guys out there like Tank that are very impressive and can carry the lower divisions, but, nothing in the heavyweight realm right now. So that's why you want to see, Mike Tyson, even in an exhibition against an older fighter, Evander Holyfield, maybe even. So let's see what happens.
The purse for those guys and the pay-per-view action on that, my God.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and anything Mayweather ever fights again, in a legitimate scenario, that would definitely be off the charts.
Totally agree. All right, so Frank, fact or fiction on this one? I think you're going to know this one. Do you have a graphic for this one, the George Foreman one with the kids? George Foreman, not yet. George Foreman has 12 children, 7 girls and 5 boys. Fact or fiction, are all 5 boys named George?
Fact. I think even the girls are like Georgina and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a total fact. That's a well-known fact.
It is. There you go. There it is. He has George Jr.,
yeah,
George
there's all the men. Yeah, there's a Georgetta.
George the 4th, George the 5th, George the 6th. I love that George the 6th is called Little Joey.
Yeah.
Little Joey.
What? And then if you look at his daughters, yeah, he's got a Georgetta there. Oh my God. I mean, and by the way, so when asked on his website, I named all my sons George Edward Foreman so they would always have something in common. I say to them, if one of us goes up, then we all go up together, and if one goes down, we all go down together. So, very interesting.
Family man.
Or he got hit in the head so many times, he just kept going, let's call him George. And the girl would be like, okay, we'll call him George the fourth, or we'll just call him Little Joey. That's my favorite thing of the day. George the sixth, also known as Little Joey. So you kind of alluded to this. This is your next question, and you kind of alluded to this. George Foreman is the most famous girl in the world. He made over $200 million from. $200 million. But what other famous athlete was almost the person tied to the grill had they not missed a phone call? Is it A, Reggie Jackson, B, Hulk Hogan, or C, Dan Marino? It's out of order, but it doesn't matter. One of those guys could have. Now, there's no way you might know this, but who do you think, the educated guess, who could have had the George Foreman grill? What do you think?
Wow, that's a tough one, I'll tell you. I really don't know, but I'll take a wild guess. Let's go with the Hulkster.
That's the correct answer. That is the fact. Yeah. How about that? And then he put out a piece of junk that didn't do anything because he was so pissed. So here's what happened. People have always said, is it true you missed a phone call? He says that's not true. I'll tell you what, brother, here's my story. My kids were upset. I'll tell you what, brother, here's the story. My kids were always upset because I was always picking them up late from school. So I said, I'm going to beat those soccer moms today. And I went to McDonald's, got a cooler, and had everything ready, and got to the school at like 2:30 instead of 3:30. Then I got home, missed the phone call, pressed the voicemail, and it said, hey, Hulk, this is Sean Perlmutter. I've got a grill and I've got a blender. I'm going to call you and George Foreman to see who wants it. First one to call back can have it. So Hulk Hogan says he probably lost out on $550 million. George got the Lean Mean grilling machine, and I got a blender that when you put AA batteries in it, it would just turn off. So, so literally, this is why we have cell phones now. Because could you imagine you missed a phone call because you wanted to go get McDonald's early for the soccer for your kids, and whoever, I mean, that's just brutal. Because the Hulk Hogan grill would have sold just as well, right? He was the big, but I don't know.
Definitely. He was an icon, so he was the biggest name in wrestling. That's when wrestling was the WWF monopoly. So yeah, that definitely would have taken off just as well, Frank.
It sold more than 100 million units worldwide. Now, if I'm not mistaken, about 10 years ago, they were tired of paying George Foreman royalties. He was talking about he mentioned somewhere he would get $8 million a month from royalties for the grill, just for them using his name. So the company that owns it, and I don't know if this is true or not, they literally went, okay, you know what? We're paying this guy too much. Let's just do a buyout. And they gave him like $100 million to use his name in perpetuity forever on the George Foreman grill. He's made like 200 or 300. There's different sources you can look online. But just from his name alone, is that what you're seeing, Ryan? Something like that?
138 million.
There you go. He got a $138 million buyout just so they could use his name because they were tired of paying him royalties. You take that money, by the way, $138 million. So just know that George the Sixth, a.k.a. Little Joey, will never have to work a day in his life because his family is well taken care of. Did you have, Ann, did you have a George Foreman grill? Everyone had one. You had two of them? Yeah. They were unbelievable. Ryan, are you familiar with the George Foreman grill? Yeah. You'd throw a hamburger meat on there. My dad couldn't cook. My dad loved it. He goes, Frankie, this George Foreman grill. You put a hamburger patty on there, you shut the lid, it's done. Barely have to clean it up. You got a burger. Boom. There you go. And he was right. They were amazing.
You burn your foot on it?
No, like Michael Scott. Michael Scott likes to have the smell of bacon in the morning.
To wake him up.
Oh, my God. That's a little Office reference there that we love. All right, we got one more. We got a birthday here before we get into talking some more sports with, or other sports, I should say, some gambling stuff. Heavyweight rocker. See my segue there, George Foreman, into heavyweight rocker. Rod Stewart is 79. Now, have you seen his show when he's done the residency here in Vegas? I have not. Have you seen it, Colucci?
No, I have not.
Are you a Rod Stewart fan at all?
Yeah, the older stuff with Jeff Beck and stuff like that. Without a doubt.
The Faces, he's
Rod was the man.
Yeah, he's been doing this this run at Caesars, and he's ending his 13-year residency called The Hits this summer from July 24th to August 7th. Can you name 2 Rod Stewart songs, Ryan?
I could tell you that my mom, Nana, and Pop went to go see it at Caesars.
They did, and what did they think?
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, they enjoyed it. I could tell you that he featured on an A$AP Rocky song called Every Day.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. But you couldn't name another. You couldn't name a Rod song.
Sorry.
Some guys have all the. No. Okay.
Luck.
Yeah, thank you. St. Colucci knows. Oh my God.
Infatuation.
Infatuation's a great song.
Right.
Young Turks.
Right, yeah.
I mean, Stay the Night.
People Get Ready.
People Get Ready with Jeff Beck.
Yeah, with Jeff Beck. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Rod Stewart. Can't name a Rod Stewart.
Song featured in Casino, too. I can't think of it offhand.
I know what you're talking about. By the way,
great. That's with Beck, too.
Yes, it is. And Colucci, I am it's I can hear the song.
Yeah. And it's strong vocals, too.
Yes, it's in the Scorsese movie. Oh, okay.
If I didn't know who Jimmy Page was.
He didn't know who Jimmy Page was yesterday on Jimmy Page's 80th birthday. I know Colucci. He knows A$AP Rocky. Who the hell's that?
He's got kids with Rihanna.
So what? You know how many kids
Rihanna.
You know how many kids Rod Stewart has? Ever seen the supermodels he's been with? Rachel Hunter?
No.
Rachel Hunter. Unbelievable. 10.
Here goes
Who's
Frank.
the most famous guitarist you know, Ryan? Who's the greatest guitarist ever?
See, I don't know musician names.
Jerry Trevino is the greatest guitar player right there. Jerry, who works on the show. No, I go Eddie Van Halen. You got to go. I grew up with Van Halen, so I go Eddie. Colucci, how about
I'm
you?
named after Duane Allman, so default. I'm named after Duane Allman. Yeah, that's who my dad named me.
I have been wanting to ask you, because you're an Italian guy. I know a lot of Italians. Right. I've never met a Duane, spelled D-U-A-N-E. I've never met a Duane. It's a very rare name for an Italian. I've always wanted to say, how did you become a Duane? You're named after Duane Allman.
Yeah. Yes, my dad was a huge Allman fan. I knew Greg before he passed. I know Warren Haynes. I know Derek Trucks. Yeah, I've been backstage millions of times. Been to hundreds of Allman Brother concerts. Actually, I was named after him because he actually passed. And then I was born. So definitely my dad was a huge Allman Brother fan. And Duane, definitely the greatest slide player ever. If not, you look at most of the publications now, and Duane is 2, right behind Hendrix in 90% of them. So, it's real. We all know Jimmy is, synonymous with being the man, but check out some of that early Allman Brothers stuff. Duane did incredible revolutionary things that just, dumbfound you, and he died at a young age of 23, 20.
Was it a motorcycle accident, I think?
Yes. Motorcycle fell. Yes, and he was hit by a peach truck. And that's why they named the album Eat a Peach, the Allman Brothers album, because that was dedicated to Duane Allman, and he played on a few tracks in that album. But he was hit by a peach truck, and I think it was a Triumph bike fell on his chest.
By the way, a few years ago, Progressive Insurance, or one of the Geico Insurance, one of them, they had a motorcycle insurance commercial, and they used an Allman Brothers song, and I'm like, was anyone aware at the marketing department that the guy who wrote that song?
Sure, they were perfectly well aware.
And Barry Oakley too. And Barry Oakley, who was the original bassist, died in a motorcycle accident. Yeah. So, very ironic how you would use the.
I don't think they knew, Ryan. I feel like no. You think they knew that we're gonna use a song with 2 guys that died in motorcycle.
They could have picked any other song ever.
They were young kids like you. They didn't know. They just went, there's no way. Well, we're gonna do some research on this.
I'm sure that they knew.
No, so they're like
I'm sure they did it.
So you think they're saying
to make fun of it? Yeah, because. Marketing, you want people to talk about it and make whatever kind of reference to it. So if they can have some people make the correlation to it, they're going to talk about it.
All right, we're going to look this up after the show. We'll settle this on tomorrow's episode, but there's no way they knew. I can't believe that. But can you name an Allman?
Well, maybe the huge biker following, because the Allmans always had huge, the Southern rock vibe and that hardcore like Skinner, the Allmans.
Playing Sturgis all the time,
with the motorcycle. But Ryan could be right, but it's definitely a play. Definitely a strange play.
Ryan, can you name an Allman Brothers song?
Don't ask me to name a song before the 2000s.
Well, I had multiple CDs after the 2000s.
CDs, do you know the CDs?
I got to give you some crap, Ryan.
DVDs?
DVDs.
In The Waterboy, did you ever see The Waterboy?
Yeah.
Okay, so when they are completing the destruction of the team and Adam is really playing well, right? Yeah, that's an Allman song as they, start to take control of the game.
Probably their last hit song, and I love that song. That song is one of my favorite Allman Brothers songs. Nobody left to do the crazy things we used to do before. I keep hitting notes on this show. I should try it for American Idol. Am I within the age limit?
You and Jerry are going to collab to make the show intro.
The name of the last Allman CD, Hitting the Note.
Hitting the Note.
Unbelievable. Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks. And Greg was still,
Dwayne knows his Allman Brothers stuff. All right, so anyway, Rod Stewart. We got him on an Allman Brothers. Happy birthday to Rod Stewart. Frank Factor Fiction, Rod Stewart was a professional soccer player at one point.
True.
You know what? Everyone thought it was true. They put it in Rolling Stone magazine. It was all a ploy by one of his publicists. Said when Rod started to hit the big time, they said that he had used to play professional soccer with the Brentford Football Club, but it was all made up. But it's one of those things that you and I grew up with. One of those where you hear, oh, yeah, Mikey had Pop Rocks and Coke and his stomach exploded.
And died, right.
Or,
that was one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, right. Or the hook on the side of the car. You know, all those urban legends. Rod Stewart. There's another legend about Rod Stewart and urban legend.
I know that one too. Yeah.
I just remembered.
Don't get your stomach pumped, Frank.
Yeah, right. We probably. Ann, are you remember that one with? Okay, Duane and I ran in similar circles back east. But there was one about Rod Stewart you can Google on your own. While you're at it, Google Richard Gere as well. All right. So anyway, those are all urban legends. So Duane, let's talk some sports real quick. Not real quick, but let's talk some sports with you. Now, last week you gave out a winner. There are some hockey games tonight.
3 of them.
There's 3 hockey games. What are the games? The Habs, your beloved Habs are playing.
Habs at Flyers. The next one, the Knights are playing the Avalanche in Colorado. That's the late game. Yeah, and then the Wild and Stars.
The Wild and Stars. So, look, I'm not going to put you on the spot if you have a pick or if you don't have a pick, but people watching in our chat room, they love.
I would. Go ahead. Who do they love?
No, I don't know.
I would recommend, I'll be honest with you, I'd recommend tomorrow night betting against the Golden Knights because I'll be at the Fortress and they are playing the Bruins, and that's going to be a difficult back-to-back. They're going to definitely try and play hard tonight against Colorado, I would anticipate, because Colorado is one of the top dogs in the Western Conference right now. So I think this is going to be a close game, maybe even an under game, Golden Knights and Avalanche tonight at the Rampart in South Point. You're seeing a minus 145. 6.5 under minus 120. I kind of like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a tight checking game and definitely a physical game. But the Golden Knights haven't been playing all that great, so keep your eye on this. And I think the bounce back tomorrow against the Bruins is going to be very difficult, even though it's in the Fortress. Now, Dallas, they had lost 3 in a row, and then they won a game. Now you're coming back home and you're laying 2-1 again. They won 4-0 the other night. We'll see how this game plays out. Big spread, so I wouldn't be laying 200 with Dallas, who has lost 3 out of 4. Montreal has somewhat of a chance, but Tortorella definitely plays a tough brand of hockey at home. Philadelphia has been one of the most improved teams in the NHL. I have not seen a goalie matchup just yet. I feel a lot more confident when Samuel Montembeault is between the pipes for the Montreal Canadiens. Then I would entertain taking the plus 150. I think that's a low line on the Flyers, which is telling you Montreal is alive. They played some decent games, over the past week and a half. They even beat the New York Rangers. So keep your eye on that. I think Montreal is playing a lot better, and you could definitely entertain taking them as long as Montembeault is between the pipes.
I love it. And this is good stuff. And by the way, I have yet to go to is it called the Fortress? Is that what they call it? Is that the nickname for the Golden Knights?
Yeah, that's the nickname. Yeah.
I'm getting to go to the game on the 20th, Saturday the 20th. Looks like my buddy Bill's going to be in town. I'm going to go see the Penguins play.
Game?
Yeah, so
nice.
Awesome. I get to see the whole show. I can't wait to see that.
The kid?
Yeah, I can't wait. You said the kid, baby. I want to say something. Last week, you slipped in a reference on me that I didn't catch at the time, and Reno Paul pointed out. You made a Sopranos reference last week, and the reason you said something about out in what are the pines you were... Where were
Pine Barrens, yeah.
Pine Barrens, yeah. You brought up Pine Barrens.
That's where the Devils were.
Yes, and the Pine Barrens. Yes. I totally slipped. And I've been watching a few Soprano episodes because HBO's running them because it's the 25th anniversary of The Sopranos. So I've been checking in, and I get sucked in right away, right? I'm supposed to be like doing stuff, and then I'm like, oh, God, 3rd episode in a row I'm watching, It's just such a good... Did you ever watch The Sopranos, Ryan? I'm not. This isn't an age thing. It's a show you can watch on HBO Max.
25 years ago? No.
25 years? No, now. But why? If you want to binge watch a show, you kids like to binge. That's a show you should binge watch. That, The Wire, The Shield, and not all Italians, are bookmakers and mobsters.
There's a lot of sports games that I've been.
Oh, you've been watching a lot of sports.
Mostly on my TV. It's always sports.
That's why I got 2 or 3. I got 3
2 or 3, like Colucci. By the way, Ashley McCormick says that Ryan knows all the Frank Sinatra songs.
Not all of them.
Can you name 2 Frank Sinatra songs?
That's great.
That's
life.
Wow. That's life.
The summer
way.
The summer wind. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm putting my mom in a bad spot.
No, your mom's the
New
best.
York.
By the way, for all your in Las Vegas, for all your real estate needs, Ashley McCormick at Sotheby's.
Yes.
And she'll give you golf tips, and she'll also tell you location's very important when looking for a home. I see her videos on Twitter, on TikTok. Damn it! All right, so let's talk about this now. We were very proud to say that Chris Andrews is responsible for these Super Bowl exacta bets, right? It's almost like a horse bet, right? You got 2 teams. You got to figure out who's going to defeat who. Pick 2 teams and the way you like it. And there are so many options on here, and it is so entertaining to do, and it's a fun bet. So we encourage you. Rampart, you have the same sheet over there, correct?
Yeah, definitely. We have all the sports odds and wagers that South Point provides. We are the Rampart, affiliated with the South Point.
Correct.
Anything on South Point's betting menu is available at the Rampart, and it's it's just a fabulous affiliation. Chris, Jimmy, and Vinny, they do just an amazing job, and they have a great crew at the South Point. One of the best local casinos, if not the best. And I'll only say that because I work across town at a local. So, what a great job and affiliation. So I really enjoy working with Chris. And these exact matchups, you could see the odds. It's amazing. It's just a great formula for Chris.
Now, I know your eyes went right to your Dallas Cowboys winning, right? So is there one you got the Cowboys versus the Ravens, which could be a matchup that a lot of people would probably believe. 18-1, that's pretty good. You throw $5 on that, you're winning $90. Right?
18-1 on both sides of that, too.
Oh, is it on both sides, actually? Yeah. I didn't even get to the Ravens.
Ravens beat Cowboys or Cowboys beat Ravens 18-1.
Which one jumps out at you? Which one do you say? I mean, I know. Let's just go ahead and say it's the Cowboys winning. So which one do you think is the most realistic? If you, as a Cowboy fan, who are they beating?
Yeah, definitely the Ravens are right up there, and I'll give a long shot the Chiefs.
I mean, right?
Been there, done that. This team knows how to win come playoff time. They have the best quarterback in the NFL by far when he has his game and his head on straight. You don't have Joe Burrow to beat this year. It's the same Josh Allen. We're going to see if Lamar Jackson feels any pressure, down the stretch here now. It's going to be very interesting to see if this man could keep up this high level of performance. Now, definitely, you're missing some key assets that you've had in years past, but I definitely think that Patrick Mahomes, a healthy Patrick Mahomes as well, he had that injury last year and he was still able to win, on the leg. So I think that definitely is a possibility if you like a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs-Cowboys line, the Chiefs defeat the Cowboys 45-1. You can't, plus you got to look at the logo. It's got red in it, right? So could be the Chiefs.
55-1 on the Cowboys to beat the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs 55-1. That
55.
That's a nice bet right there. Throw $5 on that. You're looking at some nice money. Are you going to the Super Bowl? Have you ever been to a Super Bowl?
No, unfortunately, that's my busiest day of the year.
Oh, right.
I have to be. So, most of these major sporting events, that's the only drawback of being a bookmaker and in the race and sports industry in Las Vegas is that you have to work on most of these holidays and these key days. Even when you talk about the horse racing, the Breeders' Cup, the Kentucky Derby, these are my biggest handled days, Frank. So definitely I will be at the Rampart and, hosting my guests, having a fabulous time. Definitely, as always, we'll have, parties and all that. So come down to the Rampart. You watch it on that 55-foot video wall. It's an awesome experience, but get there early.
Yeah, and speaking of, there's a big party here too. We wanted to promote the South Point has a big party here, and there's the graphic there. Now here's the package you can get. Ryan, go ahead and read that for me. What is it? $899 for a hotel party package. What do you get?
Yep, 2-night room, 2 nights in a room, 4 tickets to South Point's big game party, and then you include the $27 resorts fee.
Wow.
So book in the room, you just use promo code GAME PACKAGE, and then you'll be able to access that.
Yeah, everyone around town. It's going to be. I mean, I can't believe the Super Bowl's here. I just want to know what 2 teams are going to be in because I know I'm going to have friends from around the country somewhere coming in for this game, and it's going to be exciting. By the way, Mike O'Day just said, "Sugar Ray never knocked Hagler down." I was saying if my buddy, who still to this day thinks Hagler won the fight, there he is. Still mad. You never got me down, Ray. Then he's quoting Now he's quoting that's Raging Bull, right? You never got me down.
And LaMotta didn't win. LaMotta didn't win that fight, so we know that. He never went down either.
He's all bloodied, and he looks at Sugar Ray, not Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson.
I met Jake a few times at PJ Clark's. You would meet so many people at PJ Clark's. This is a world famous, bar in Manhattan. I met so many people, athletes. We told you the Tom Seaver story. I remember this was more recent. I went to see actually Warren Haynes and Government Mule, play some of their shows in Manhattan. And I was living in Las Vegas. I think it was like 94, I want to say 95. And we went to PJ Clark's after one of the shows, and Jake was sitting right there in his table, right on the side entrance. And I went up to him. I said, Jake, one of the best. Kid, he had his cigar. He's like, kid, you don't remember me. And, just seeing video and knowing about him and the Raging Bull, the fabulous movie, probably De Niro's best performance ever. Amazing. I followed his career, even though I didn't see him live in action. But Jake was a character and unbelievable.
Now, I know he lived. Is he still alive? I don't think he's passed.
No, I think he passed. Didn't he pass? I think he passed. Maybe last year.
Jake LaMotta. I remember, first of all, boxers don't live long lives, but I remember at one point he was way up there and seeing his birthday.
Yeah.
Is he still
with definitely. Us? I think he passed. Let me check here. I'm even looking now.
He passed in 2017.
2017, he did die. Okay. I'm sorry. I know he lived a long life, but yeah. If you've never seen Raging Bull, Ryan, I'm not even going to ask, but Raging Bull's a great movie. Of course, in 1980, he won the best actor.
Yeah,
Pesci's in
just
it.
A must see if if you're into some of the old school movies, and it's probably the best boxing film ever. That and I would say Body and Soul with John Garfield. That's definitely right.
Wow, but you also just for entertainment fact, you got to put Rocky in there. Come on, you got to put. The original Rocky is.
Let me tell you, that was ingenious by Stallone, and Stallone definitely. Look at his career at this point; it's just. Everything stemmed from Rocky, so definite credit.
And there's a great documentary. I don't know if it's on Amazon or Netflix called Stallone, and he talks about Rocky. And there's some old footage of him training and him and Carl Weathers training, and he tells the stories about how he held onto the script and stuff. So I highly recommend that. And Tulsa Kings on Paramount Plus. Did you watch Tulsa Kings? Yeah. Wasn't that great?
Yeah, it's great. Unbelievable, yeah.
Well, speaking of great shows, Colucci, you do it every time you're here on Wednesdays, man. We love having you on. We love that you played along with our little game there, and I think you went 3 for 4. You nailed. You did great. It's always a blast. So make sure you check them out at the Rampart Casino. The buffet sparkles out there. We know about that. And
yes.
And also, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, but it was on CNN this morning. If you want to win Super Bowl tickets, you can donate blood. Go to the redcross.com or redcross.org, actually. There's a chance to win Super Bowl tickets if you give blood. There's a shortage. It's the lowest it's been in like 40 years or something. So if you want to win some tickets to the Super Bowl, you even get airfare. So if I would go give blood and win airfare, I could fly from Henderson Private to McCarran is what I would ask them to fly.
And come down to the Rampart because we're giving away 2 Super Bowl tickets as well. So Super Bowl ticket drawing, just play table games machines and you qualify.
I'm doing that. I am doing that. I want every shot to see the Steelers win the Super Bowl. Boom! I said it, Jerry. All right, excellent show. My thanks to Sean and Jerry and Ryan. Ryan, any final thoughts on today's program?
The only reason why my mom said that is because she has video of me performing That's Life when I was little.
Oh, Ashley McCormick. Ashley, you have my TikTok. I'll send you. You need to send us Ryan singing Sinatra.
I used to.
Frank, was that a Sopranos reference there? Program?
A program, yeah, exactly.
That's how the old man says it in one of the episodes.
There you go. And I'm walking around the house talking like Polly Walnuts half the time and pointing with my fingers like this now. It's just, it's the best show ever. I love it.
Ryan, sing the Summer Wind. That's Frank, one of Frank's best songs, without a doubt.
You know what we want to do? We want to do like the old the Nat King Cole. We want to do a duet with you singing with yourself. So Jerry will put it together. You singing, is it My Way or what were you singing?
That's Life.
That's Life. Oh my! I want to see you singing with the young Ryan, and we're gonna put this on the website, and it's gonna go viral, baby. All right, Ashley, send me that video, please, immediately. Colucci, thank you so much, everybody. It's Duane Colucci.
Colucci.
I'm Frank Nicotero.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Lines live in Nevada every show. See you tomorrow.